Today I'm going to tell you an interesting story about the life of Saint Teresa de Jesus of Los Andes. Saint Teresa was the first Catholic saint from Chile and was known to be a miraculous saint. She was born on July 13, 1900 in Santiago, Chile. Her birth name was Juana Enriqueta Solar, and her family was known to be a devout Catholic. She was the fifth of the 7 children, and when she was young, she was known to be cheerful, kind-hearted, and full of love. As a child, she was known to be sickly, but she leaned on her faith rather than despair. When she was 6 years old, she heard about Saint Terese of the child Jesus and was inspired to become like her, the little flower. When she was 14, Juana received her first communion, which she later described as the happiest day of her life. From then on, she prayed more deeply, lived with greater simplicity, and loved those around her with even more tenderness. By 15, she felt a clear calling to enter religious life. At first, her parents hesitated, but seeing her determination, they eventually supported her vocation. In 1919, she entered the Carmelite convent of Los Andes and took the name Teresa of Jesus from her favorite saint. Although life in the convent was strict, Teresa embraced it joyfully. She devoted herself to prayer, sacrifice, and silence, and wrote letters encouraging others to trust in God. Unfortunately, just months after entering the convent, she contracted typhus, a deadly bacterial disease during that time. Even though her health was drastically declining, her superiors allowed her to profess her vows from her sickbed on April 7, 1920. 5 days later, she unfortunately passed away at the age of 19 years old. But her story did not just end there. After she died, her story spread all over the town, and people started to talk about her holiness and spirituality. Later, devotion to her name started to grow, and it was here that miracles happened through her intercession. One of the most famous miracle stories was the healing of a boy with cancer. In the story, the boy was suffering from terminal stage cancer, and doctors had declared no hope. His parents prayed to Teresa for healing, and miraculously he was completely and instantly healed. This miracle story played a role in her canonization process. Another miracle story involved a woman who was paralyzed for years and was in a wheelchair. One day this woman started praying to Saint Teresa and made a pilgrimage to her shrine. Soon after, she immediately gained her mobility and couldn't even understand how she was healed instantly. Her doctors couldn't explain her recovery, and her healing was seen as a clear sign of Saint Teresa's intercession and became one of the miracles attributed to her name. On March 21, 1993, Pope John Paul II canonized Teresa of Jesus of Los Andes as a saint, declaring her the first Chilean saint. And today, her body is resting inside the sanctuary of Saint Teresa de los Andes in Rinconada, Chile. Her feast day is celebrated every 12th of April. If you like stories like this, support us. Follow, like, and subscribe.